The film opens quickly, explaining that it is the year 1769, a time when England still depends on slavery. Captain Sir John Lindsay moves through a poor neighborhood to find his young mixed-race daughter, Dido Elizabeth Bell. Her mother, who was enslaved, has passed away. Although Dido and her father are meeting for the first time, he gently gains her trust and tells her he is taking her to a better life. He brings Dido to the estate of his uncle, Lord Mansfield, one of the most powerful judges in England. The household includes Lady Mansfield, her unmarried sister, Lady Mary Murray, and their niece, Elizabeth Murray. The family is clearly surprised by Dido's race, but Lindsay insists that as his daughter, she has the right to live there. After securing their agreement, he leaves for a long sea journey, saying goodbye with emotion and reminding Dido that she is loved. Dido soon meets Elizabeth, her lively and curious cousin, who enjoys teasing their aunt. While exploring the house, Dido notices a painting showing a nobleman with a black servant placed below him, which deeply unsettles her. As time passes, Dido and Elizabeth grow close while Lord and Lady Mansfield observe them. Lord Mansfield explains that Dido's presence will be described as companionship for Elizabeth, even though her bloodline gives her a rightful place in the family. Lady Mansfield worries about Dido's future, questioning whether society will see her race or her noble heritage first. She fears what may happen once the family is gone, believing that any man willing to marry Dido might only disrespect her. They are also concerned about Elizabeth's future, as her own father has distanced himself from her. 10 years pass, and both girls grow into young women with a strong bond. One day, Lord Mansfield informs Dido that her father has died. Though heartbreaking, he has left her a large inheritance, making her financially secure and suddenly desirable in society. Dido struggles to process this, while Elizabeth feels happy for her despite her own uncertain future. The family plans a formal dinner to attract potential suitors for Elizabeth. Dido initially feels hopeful until she is reminded that social rules prevent her from attending the dinner itself, though she may join afterward. That evening, Lady Ashcroft arrives with her sons, James and Oliver. Lady Ashcroft and James openly show prejudice and focus mainly on wealth. During dinner, Lady Ashcroft presses Lord Mansfield about a legal case involving a ship called the Zong, but he avoids the topic. While the others are at dinner, Dido walks alone through the estate grounds. A sudden sound frightens her, and she quickly returns inside. Soon after, a young man named John Davenier arrives to deliver a message for Lord Mansfield on behalf of his father. Still shaken, Dido reacts coldly toward him, and he leaves. Later, once dinner ends, the guests gather with Dido in the drawing room. Lady Ashcroft and her son James are clearly uncomfortable with her presence, while Oliver finds her unusual and intriguing. When Oliver mentions Dido's inheritance to his mother, Lady Ashcroft suddenly becomes more accepting of the idea of Dido joining the family. At the same time, Elizabeth becomes deeply attracted to James. The following day, Dido enters her uncle's study to collect books and finds him speaking with Davenier, the same man from the night before. Davenier hopes to study law under Lord Mansfield, but his modest background makes this difficult. He speaks strongly about fairness and reform in England, though Lord Mansfield remains unsure. When asked for her opinion, Dido unexpectedly supports Davenier. Later, he thanks her, and while she remains reserved, she is clearly interested in his ideals. Another misunderstanding soon leads to another argument between them. Dido later learns that her uncle has ordered a portrait of her and Elizabeth together. This deeply upsets her, as she has only seen paintings where black figures are shown as lesser. Lord Mansfield insists, and during the sittings, the girls talk about the Ashcroft brothers. Dido again hears brief mentions of a legal case involving a ship called the Zong, but no one explains it to her. After one of the portrait sessions, Dido meets Davenier again and asks him directly about the case. He is surprised she has been kept in the dark. He explains that the Zong was a slave ship involved in a legal dispute after enslaved people were lost at sea, with the owners seeking insurance payment. Lord Mansfield is responsible for judging the case. Dido is deeply disturbed by what she learns, and Davenier agrees with her concerns. Dido confronts her uncle, but he tells her the case is complicated and becomes angry that she was informed. He then dismisses Davenier as a student, especially after sensing his feelings for Dido. Heartbroken, Dido later learns that Davenier has left without saying goodbye. Sometime later, Lord and Lady Mansfield speak privately with Dido and Elizabeth. They explain that the family will soon travel to London. At first, the girls are thrilled, believing this means both will be formally introduced to society. However, they are then told that only Elizabeth will have this opportunity. Dido is informed that she will not be presented for marriage. Lord Mansfield explains that any man willing to marry her would likely be interested only in her money and would not treat her with respect. He then offers her the household keys to manage the estate during their absence. Dido is deeply upset, realizing this role belongs to her unmarried aunt, and she does not want that future. When the cousins reunite, Elizabeth comforts her and expresses her sorrow. In London, they reunite with Lady Ashcroft and her sons. Oliver invites Dido to visit Vauxhall Gardens with him. James objects, but Dido accepts out of defiance. At the gardens, James continues to impress Elizabeth, though it becomes clear his interest is tied to the wealth he expects her to inherit. When Lady Ashcroft raises the subject with Lady Mansfield and Lady Mary, they are forced to admit that Elizabeth will receive no dowry. Meanwhile, Dido and Oliver grow closer until he speaks about loving her despite her background. Though hurt, she hides her feelings. She then spots D'Avenir in the crowd and quietly leaves Oliver to speak with him. D'Avenir explains that he is now working with others to spread awareness about the Zong case, hoping it will weaken the slave trade if ruled against. He shares where he is staying, and they are both glad to meet again. After learning Elizabeth has no fortune, James stops visiting her, though she still believes he cares for her. Oliver continues courting Dido, even as she secretly meets D'Avenir to support his efforts. Eventually, Oliver proposes, and though surprised, Dido accepts. Elizabeth is heartbroken, feeling that Dido, who never needed marriage for security, has found happiness while she has not. Despite this, their friendship remains intact. After the engagement, Dido meets D'Avenir and reflects on her independence, both as a black woman in a slave society and as someone with financial freedom. She says she still hopes for a relationship built on equality and partnership. She admits she knows little about her mother beyond her appearance, and D'Avenir responds with kindness and respect, honoring her heritage rather than dismissing it. Dido secretly enters her uncle's office to look for proof that could help D'Avenir. She finds a marked map showing the Zong's journey, highlighting places where the ship failed to refill its water. This suggests the crew acted carelessly and chose profit over human lives, knowing insurance would cover the losses. Dido shares this information with D'Avenir. Later, at a garden gathering, James Ashcroft confronts Dido and says he will never accept her as family. He openly admits he does not truly care for Elizabeth and behaves in a disrespectful and aggressive way toward Dido. Disturbed, she later tries to warn Elizabeth, but Elizabeth refuses to believe her, leading to their first serious argument. Lord Mansfield also learns that Dido has been meeting D'Avenir and confronts them both. D'Avenir declares his feelings for Dido, but Mansfield insists that, due to his low income, he is not a suitable match. Dido feels betrayed both by his rejection of D'Avenir and by the fear that he may support the slave traders in court. However, she is moved when he reveals the completed portrait of Dido and Elizabeth, painted side by side as equals. Privately, Mansfield struggles with the case, knowing slavery is wrong but fearing the economic impact of his decision. Dido ends her engagement with Oliver, who accepts her choice with sadness. Elizabeth later learns of James's true nature when she reads about his marriage to another woman, and the cousins reconcile. When the court finally delivers its judgment, Dido and D'Avenir are present. At first, the ruling seems uncertain, but Lord Mansfield ultimately condemns the traders and denounces slavery. The two rejoice at the outcome. Outside the courthouse, Mansfield reinstates D'Avenir as his apprentice, giving him the means to marry Dido. The story concludes by noting that the ruling helped pave the way toward ending slavery in England. Dido and D'Avenir marry, Elizabeth finds happiness as well, and the film closes with the real portrait of Dido and Elizabeth. Thanks for watching. If you like our work, please like, share, and subscribe our channel for more amazing content.